coming back to us. Hello, Murray. Am I saying your name right? Tell me that first. Oh.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, good. Hi, sorry, what was your question?
How do you say your name so that I say it right?
Oh, thank you. Everybody gets it wrong. Seipel. It's Murray Seipel.
Murray Seipel. Okay.
And I don't know if you have it in the States, because I think that's where everybody is, but it's Father's Day here. And
yes,
I had a tattoo made, Disciple. It was my dad's it was my dad's trucker's handle when he was trucking around. He was known as the Disciple. So I always correct people by saying it's not Bible, it's Bible. My dad had the handle Disciple. So thanks for asking.
Oh, no, of course. So in the piece, it was great to see some horns that Laura was talking about. So would you share a little more about your inspiration behind this piece and how it became a part of your submission for Without Labels?
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on in that painting. The horns, they kind of come, the hooded figure in the painting comes from, I drove to Mexico and did a 6-month sort of self-imposed residency in a small town in Mexico. And everywhere I was, I'd see a Virgin of Guadalupe figure, which is the Mexican version of a Virgin Mary, the hooded figure. And it just, I saw it everywhere. I saw it in roadside graves, painted on buildings, on cards, on tourist items, everywhere. And it started to make an impression on me that I'm not religious, but I felt that we needed some type of awakening to scare us all, that we need to change the way we are living, for the environment, for the way we treat each other, for everything. And that figure just had a big impact on me. It also reminded me of my days as a skateboarder, and I still wear hoodies, and all skateboarders kind of wear hooded sweatshirts. So I just felt a connection to it. But beyond the hooded figure, there's a lot of things going on there. There's me in a wheelchair as a hooded figure. And below me is a hand reaching up from the grave, trying to help my wheel. And I always run across people trying to give me assistance when I don't need it. And I felt like that makes sense. Someone's trying to grab my wheel to help me, and it's actually making a mess of everything I'm doing. So, and then the rays of light are just for hope. And I have a beluga whale that's half a virgin, half a beluga whale. And the color scheme of primary colors also comes from my Mexico trip, where the little town I moved into, we had no art store, but there was a paint store, a house paint store, and they only had primary colors. So it became my palette. And the black background comes from when I was in Mexico, there was no canvases to buy. So I had to steal election signs off people's houses. The election signs were actually framed canvases that I had to paint black over so you couldn't see the election sign anymore. I got in a lot of trouble because those election signs were also people's statement on which cartel they were involved with. And so black backgrounds became a thing for me.
Oh, there's a lot of thrill in your art, I think, that you make, from listening to your skateboarding days to stealing a little. And I know that artists in history have done that to find their space and make their space. So that's a great insight that you've shared with our viewers. And I also see that you're wearing your art. Do you want to share a little more about that?
I started also, I just was in a show recently that wanted some merchandise. So I set up a silk screen station and I did a bunch of prints and I printed some shirts. And again, that's the Virgin of Guadalupe figure. The horns is like really kind of bad for the Catholic religion. I had a friend say that we were going to collaborate on something and he was Catholic. He's like, oh, I can't have anything to do with that. You put horns on the Virgin Mary. And for me, it didn't, I wasn't trying to like do anything against religion. I was just trying to show that like there's kind of evil lurking behind our shadows. And I wanted to say, I don't know, like for me, I always put myself in an environment where I'm taking risks. I think that shows that even though I have a disability, I will fly to, like I've been to like the depths of Cambodia as a quadriplegic by myself. And in there, I will find an image and bring it home and try and make something of it. Because this whole label of a disability or not a disability, I'm not frustrated with it, but you could be a superhero. You're going to have something wrong. I bet you speed, so you're breaking the law. Or maybe you don't recognize people that have dietary restrictions, or that no one is going to be perfect. So the levels, there's 16 people on my screen. We all have our own disability. How many labels are you going to create? And if you're going to put me under one label, I will fight you. Because there's just, you have to fall forward with whatever you're given and you need to communicate. And I think that's why we're all here. We've tried to communicate what we're up against. And I'm surrounded currently by able-bodied people that all have something, they all have an issue. They might be able to walk around or hear perfectly or see things. They still have major issues and they don't accomplish what we all are accomplishing. So why do I have a label at all?
That's the perfect way to share it with a person who does not understand a disability physically or neurologically. So thank you for adding that to your statement. In terms of your other body of work, would you like to share a little more about your background and what inspired you to make art in the first place?
Oh, I mean, I just started drawing right away. I've always been drawing and I thought it was fun from the very beginning. And throughout my whole life, I just wanted to try and use art as a platform to get me somewhere. I never thought about like having a career, a standard career or anything. I knew I had a talent and I knew I like to make people laugh and I like to entertain people and I like to tell a story. So art was just there for me all the time. I was listening to some of the other stories and I made a note because it actually made me laugh. I used to play football in high school. I was a quarterback and the other team, the town rivals, were all on steroids and there were these big fat guys and they used to always want to beat me up and steal my girlfriend. And so as a quarterback, you have like a towel that you always can dry your hands. So when you have to throw the ball, so I drew a stick man with a U, like I wrote U. So every time they saw me come up to get ready to play, they were looking at me like getting mad at them. And I just like, I've always tried to confront people with like, if you think I'm this, I think you're that. We all have this thing we like, you can't, it's hard for people to understand. You just can't put everybody into one group. So
Boxing
uh,
people is something that as humans, we box everything to make it more logical and just to interpret things. So
yes,
boxing our own self is something we do as well. So thank you for mentioning about how we try to label just so that we can understand someone better.
yeah,
So uh, we have to break these boxes, come out of those walls of labeling people.
yeah,
Thank you, Ray. And we have talk to all of our artists in the session. I'm going to again open it up to our viewers that remember you are going to be voting for the People's Choice Award. So go and check the exhibit. I know it's going to be a difficult call. After hearing everyone, it's we have just notched the difficulty level up because now you know what the art is inspired by and what the artists have said about for themselves. I'm going to now open it up in terms of talking to Yuri Arais, who is here as well from, he's also part of our selection committee, to announce some awards, that is the Best in Show and the Honorable Mention. A little about Yuri. He's from Outsiders and Others. He'll announce the awards for the show right now. He's also a part of the selection committee, and he's a working artist who has dedicated much of his practice to advocating for fellow artists, including artists who live with a disability. So thank you for joining us today, Yuri, and I'm going to let you share a little more about yourself and how was the selection process for you? I'm sure it was difficult.
Thanks so much, and thanks everybody for being here. Thank you all the artists for taking the time to submit your work. I know it's a lengthy process to go through, and it's really appreciated. And as said, I run